Oh, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. Again, that's right. I do hope you're doing well, dear sweet friend, is what I wanted to say. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, second edition of the day, because I want to react to some sensational news, speculation, headlines, kinda. Look, Chelsea, we said this earlier in the last upload, Chelsea have lost a lot of attackers out the door, man. Like, Paul went out for Ross Zidane Barkley, who's had his contract terminated or ripped up or whatever, but Lukaku, Werner, big earners, the two biggest attacking earners on the wage bill, off. Hudson-Odoi has been confirmed at Leverkusen. Hakim Ziyech will go, I think, to Ajax. The secret scout, who is a reliable source of information of youngsters and, people who are looking at what people is saying, and it's at the secret scout _ on Twitter and social media, that Chelsea are looking at Neymar as well as Zaha. Settle in, get comfortable. If you want to get gassed like me, because why not? YOLO, it's transfer silly season. Drop a like. Thank you for supporting the channel, liking and commenting and subscribing. You're welcome to subscribe to this channel, of course, and if you choose to do so, make sure you hit that sweet, sweet bell. It's not my best. It's not my best, but we move. Right. I do want to talk about their metrics. Look, Chelsea have been long trying to replace this tricky chance creator dribbler. This is why Chelsea were genuinely interested in Thomas Tuchel's former player, Ousmane Dembele of Barcelona, who just wanted to stay at Barcelona in the end, but he kind of represented this kind of profile that Zaha and Neymar represent. I know, sort of like in terms of profile, there's a big sort of Galactico gap in between them. Bless Wilfried Zaha. But at the same age, basically, I think Neymar's 30, Zaha's 29. We're going to look at their stats in just a moment. But the secret scout has tweeted this with, the alarm emoji. Chelsea are working on trying to bring in either Wilfried Zaha or Neymar to Stamford Bridge before the deadline as they look to add goals to their attack. Well, goals and creativity, like I said, that similar profile of Ousmane Dembele. But on top of that, trying to bring in this profile, maybe replace the Eden Hazard hole that's lingered for a few years now. But it makes sense. Wide attackers have left. Werner was a wide attacker. Hudson-Odoi is a wide attacker. Ziyech is a wide attacker. Sterling looks like he plays down the middle quite a lot as a striker. Yes, Aubameyang might still come. But Chelsea, looking at these two players, is sensational. Look, quite right. I was just chatting to my mate Ollie Glanville about this. He was talking about, wait to hear someone like Julien Laurens, French journalist, broadcaster, to comment on it, because he is, of course, a PSG fan. Is in the know. We know for a while there's been stories about Neymar in terms of Kylian Mbappe perhaps wanting to get him out or something. There's been like arguments on the pitch, like who takes the penalties, liking social media posts from different family members, like animosity, general like stuff that's not harmonious. Granted, they played well again recently and they look like they're harmonious on the pitch, but it does feel a little bit like if PSG could sell him, it's been understood for a while that they would sell him. A new clause has been triggered in his contract, so it's like goes to 2026 or 7 or something ridiculous. Considering his age, he's 30, it's wild, and he's on crazy wages, of course. Neymar is one of those people that would bring a lot of cash. When people talk about Ronaldo coming, imagine all this sort of like brand marketing exposure, etc. Neymar in a Chelsea shirt, Neymar in the Premier League. Ooh la la. We'll talk more about Neymar in a minute and look at his stats, but Chelsea are looking for that profile, so they're also talking about Wilfried Zaha. Now, I know it might be a little bit of an anticlimax when you get all gassed up about the, Brazilian that's a genius Neymar, as well as, often pantomime villain, of course, and peculiar relationship with his sister, etc., etc. But, Zaha is a year younger. He's a good Premier League proven player and could be really helpful to this Chelsea side. He's really hardworking. He's got quite. I think he's quite friendly. We've got a good relationship with Raheem Sterling. So I think probably, like, I saw a video of them playing FIFA or talking about it that was going around social media this morning. I think he'd fit straight in. He lives in London. He'll probably take instruction really well from Thomas Tuchel. And yes, of course, Thomas Tuchel's worked with Neymar before, so there is that as well. Maybe he could speak a bit. I don't know how good Neymar's French is now. It might have improved since Tuchel was there, but Tuchel has worked well with Neymar before and got like a crazy return out of Neymar Jr. at PSG. Like, his stats underneath Tuchel were... I'm talking about him again. Come on. Don't disrespect Zaha. Let's bring it on home. Check out Zaha's scouting report on FB Ref. Let's have a little look here. This is his strength. So obviously I've gone for the things he's good at. So he obviously draws a lot of fouls. Ding, ding, ding. Over 4 per game. And of course that makes you think Eden Hazard. Releasing pressure up the pitch. Getting your team up the pitch when you're under pressure. Hugely valuable. Penalty kicks attempted. Well, he's been on penalty kicks. Non-penalty goals. He's actually really high, but I think this is against attacking mids and wingers. But the non-penalty XG. So goals, XG, 96 as well. His goals are in the top 94th percentile. Goal creating actions, 94th percentile. Penalty kicks made. I think that's just taking penalties. Shot creating actions from dribbling, which is massive. Carrying the ball into the box. Doesn't pass the ball out that much. Again, more goal creating actions. Shot creating actions, very good. And he's dribbling good. He's often, and he presses well, successful pressures. That's still the 88th percentile, which is really good. So essentially, he's a really good ball carrying creative attacker, works hard, alleviates pressure up the pitch, and really helps out the team in that sense. I do think Zaha would be genuinely a great addition, especially considering that we've lost so many attackers. He's 29. He'll have a touch of the Raheem Sterling about him. Come to London, come to a big club like Chelsea, prove myself. I mean, Sterling's got nothing to prove, but he wants to be the man, and they could be the men together. That sounds a bit peculiar, but you know what I'm trying to say. They could really make the difference, and genuinely, I know people want to get gassed on the name of Neymar and stuff, but genuinely, he'd be a great addition, Zaha. That's what everyone's saying. Of course, social media will explode with Neymar hysteria. But let's move on and talk about him. So, like I said, he went to PSG to be the main man after being in Messi's shadow. I remember he had that game at Barcelona, I think when they overturned the PSG deficit, that amazing comeback. And that day was Neymar's Barcelona. And he probably thought, right, today's the day, the passing of the baton. I'm the man now. Messi's, in his... Was he 30 then? And he was still in his mid-20s or something like that, or mid-late 20s. He was like, this is my time now. I'm in my prime. And the next day, the headlines were all Messi still. So I think he was like, screw this. I'm out, man. When PSG were willing to trigger his buyout clause of crazy, crazy money. And of course, he came before Mbappe. Then Mbappe joined on loan, and then they bought him for financial fair play reasons. And of course, he went to PSG to be the main man. But what's happened? Mbappe became the main man, so he never got that. He never got to sort of, I suppose, nurture the ego or the messiah complex that footballers have, but he did play very well. And yes, he's an elite player playing for an elite team in, plug your ears, Ligue 1 fans, a farmers league. That's a little bit unfair because it is quite physical at Ligue 1 in France, but ultimately, when you've got that much of a monopoly on the league, you're not really testing yourself. Regardless to how good you think Neymar is, he will have a baptism of fire in the Premier League. And maybe a sensible person would say, Zaha makes more sense. He'll cost way less. His wages would probably be a third of what Neymar would cost Chelsea. And that's me being maybe conservative with my guess there. And he's going to work harder, and he knows what the Premier League's all about. That being said, let's look at Neymar's stats. Look at this! Again, he's playing for PSG in Liga, but I could only crop this much down to the 98th percentile because there's so many 99 percentile metrics in Neymar's scouting report. He's in the top 99th top 1% for expected goals assisted, non-penalties, goals plus assists, passes short, passes attempted, progressive passes, live ball passes, through balls, ground passes, passes attempted on his right, passes attempted on his other, shot creating actions, FLD, whatever that means, goal creating actions. We're still in the top 1% in Europe. Goal creating actions pass live, touches, 80 touches per game for a forward. Granted, PSG in Liga, but incredible stuff. Carries, top 1, but look. And then you get to assists when he's only in the top 2% in Europe, which is like, wow, which is still incredible. And the XG, 98th. I mean, obviously, PSG, Liga, amazing players that he has to play with, and they just dominate. But it's Neymar. It's not a 37-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo. It's a 30-year-old Neymar. Look, let's bring this home. Zaha makes a lot of sense. He's a known quantity, he works hard, the expense won't be that much, and it probably is a sensible, objective purchase. But why do we watch football? Because of the glitz, the glamour, the excitement, and the risk, and the jeopardy. And that would make you lean towards Neymar. Someone like Raheem Sterling was like a little bit in the middle. Not many people got excited about Sterling because he made a lot of sense. In much of the way Zaha makes a lot of sense. And then he's come and he's worked hard and he's working and we got a couple of wins and he's got goals. Like, yeah, of course Sterling. Of course Raheem Sterling. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are like that. Maybe they'd be the same with Wilfried Zaha. And then, what if Neymar gets angry after a dive and gets a red card and you're like, of course he was always going to be a huge problem for Chelsea and what's going on here and oh my God. Do you know what I mean? Or it's like Reece James and Neymar are combining on a flank for an amazing goal and they're celebrating, hugging, and Raheem Sterling's jumping all over them and, Thiago Silva's running over and all this kind of stuff. Thiago Silva, he could convince Neymar to join Chelsea. Brazilian compatriots, teammates. The captain that led them to a Champions League final in PSG. And the coach, by the way. I do genuinely think there's these historical comments of Neymar praising Thomas Tuchel. But whether Thomas Tuchel would want to bring him in, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. We're going to be following this story closely. Keep it locked, man. Please do drop a like if you're gas. Turn the bell on when you subscribe. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.